Hello. Um, Today I would like to talk about what I want in books. I have been reading books as much as possible at this late of my life, and sometimes I feel that some of the books that I read, classic or the bestseller or whatever, um, not that much enjoyable. I think just because it doesn't have the things that I kind of sympathize or agree to my taste, to my philosophy, to my um, I don't know, the life disciplines or whatever. And so I don't like those, even though they are very popular and bestsellers or whatever. But the one I like is something that mostly it's a classic, mostly the well-known books I like because it has this emotional depth that I agree. It's more or less like life affirming and also very adventurous, I think, and you seek for this particular emotion of that you are doing the right thing and you are going through that process of doing the right things and you more or less succeed even though it has a revenge and some fights and all these things. And so I think that's what I like. And also it has this resonance with this pleasure of life. I think mostly pleasure of life reflected on the nature. I would say the respect of the nature. Those things that I like. And the human relationship, I think mostly books are based on the human relationship. And some of the human relationship is a little bit too much for me. too, too meshed so much that you get a little bit annoyed by this friends or families or whatever, and you want to be alone. And so some of them are that. I think although I enjoyed these depictions of the human relationships, I really liked that nuances of the psychology of these different people, the mingling together and so forth. But to the certain point, I don't necessarily, I don't know, I think I still enjoy it. I think to tell the truth, I think I still enjoy the human relationships story because those are, you are made of, right? Because you're human, so you understand how they react to each other and how you have this emotions of jealousy, envy, disdain, all these things that I think you enjoy it. I think that's where the people start to read books because they kind of miss the human relationship in their own life and that they look for those human relationship story. And yeah, that's big part of me getting into the reading books. Before, probably 10 or 20 years ago, I wasn't interested in reading books because I thought that was like a frivolous thing that, it's somebody's fiction. Why you should be interested in the fiction? Why you should be swayed by somebody's ideas of the happiness or sadness or whatever. But I think you're realizing that your brain are made of these human emotions, and you are attracted to that kind of a human relationship. And after a while you get, that's one of the most fundamental, important things in human, that you invest this particular feeling toward the humans. And so over the years, I read books, and I kind of I made different videos saying that Moby Dick is my favorite fiction, that number one for me, just because it has this very scientific, I would say. I used to be an engineer, therefore I kind of admire this particular knowledge-based science or whatever. And so Moby Dick shows that. I think Herman Melville, I'm not sure he's science-minded, but of course he is a science-minded person. And but it has this tremendous admiration for the nature, and admiration for the power of the nature overruling the human endeavors, and that's what resonates me at the time the most. And so I look for those books in a sense that Alexander Dumas, Count of Monte Cristo, although that particular fiction is about revenge and so forth, but this particular protagonist has this very, like a understanding of all the human sufferings and everything, but still have a bigger mind to allow other people to be friends or to be admired, whatever. So I love that, and I love that kind of a feeling of the encompassing the bigger picture of the human being. Charles Dickens, I really like, the books that he wrote, many books, and it has this tremendous, I would say, the depictions of oh God, I think different type of life of a human being, even though they suffer because of the poverty, whatever, but it's overruling. Idea is like you kind of take it, everything is all those life of the common people, and elevate to the level where you can kind of praise what the human beings are. And so I like that. I think so Dickens, Herman Melville, Alexander Dumas and the, the Russian. But in the Russian, I tried to read the Tolstoy, for example. And when I was young, I read the Tolstoy's and the Karenina, and I remember I enjoyed it. But now it's Tolstoy is more or less like I have to set aside because it's kind of difficult to read that particular thing. But Dostoevsky, I really like his sentiment of the what life should be, and the most admirable life should be this way or that way. And I like that very stern looks of the life. And so, I have been reading the Soseki Natsume, Japanese author, during the period of Meiji era, where he wrote lots of, I think, the people's conflict between the Western culture and the Japanese tradition, and they kind of mingle together, but very intellectual approach to absorb the Western culture and try to live up to this ideal human devotion to the happiness or to the way of living. And I really see that in Soseki's books, and that's one of the reasons I like. But I was talking about all those great books in the past, and most of all, though, I think when you start to read, you realize that how those reading books is affecting to your life, and because you spend like all day reading books, and you feel like it's worthwhile to do that without doing exercise or without doing anything else, not cleaning the room. You're justifying this particular efforts of reading books because you are involved in that process and you are 100% absorbed in reading books. And that particular thing, I would say, as the essence of why the books exist. I think many people are not satisfied with the current life situation, whatever, a lot of suffering occurring. But while you are reading books, you are transformed to this other world, and you're completely absorbed in there. And during that time, you are completely forget about this daily life stress and very bleak outlooks of future, or the very sad stage of the past, or the current stage of the suffering. You forget about that. You are completely absorbed in the particular world, and I think that's what great books are for me, at least. And so I continuously look for the opportunities to read books. Not only greatest book that the people regard today, but new books and popular books, small books, and some of your friends, personal friends, wrote the book. I like to read that because the particular enjoyment of finding out what's this idea of you transport yourself to that particular time, particular era, particular person, and how you feel as a particular person. And that's pretty much like that's enjoyment. Many people have lots of hobbies and so forth, but reading books is, I think, one of the most popular hobbies of people in the world, and continuously, doing that. Today, I think people read books by, the digital means and everything. But I still like the paper books, the traditional books, because even though you can take all the tablet or whatever, or the cell phone to wherever you want to, but somehow it's kind of I haven't mastered that particular skills yet. So I still carry the books with me, and I can read anywhere, riding the car even. Riding car is the, I kind of listen to the audio. But you transport yourself to that particular fun. I think that's what I say. Nonetheless of quality of the books, but I think having fun to read, I think that's one of the reasons why I read, and hopefully that's going to continue until late years. But I know sometimes soon you will stop reading because you don't maintain that particular fun of reading anymore, because your mind goes somewhere, right? You become Alzheimer's or whatever. So you cannot retain. But I'm not sure, even though you cannot retain, you stop reading, because when you're reading, the part of those pages that you're reading, you can retain that particular part, only a few pages at a time. And I think you will enjoy it, but I'm not sure about that.